This week, while social media was actually distracted, Femi Otedola actually casually sold his controlling stake in Geregu Power. Not for hype, not for noise, but for 1 trillion naira. That's huge. That's huge. 1 trillion. Now, some of you will say, why would he sell such good business? Is the business failing? Is the company failing? Is something wrong? And if you ask that very question, it shows, how much you pay attention to the noise more than you pay attention to the back end, or how strategic people like Femi Otedola actually think. Sometimes you need to pay attention to how this man doesn't say anything. When he doesn't say much, Dangote, these two people, when they don't say much, when you don't hear them say anything, there's so much thing that is happening behind the scene that you only can see very much later. So if you ask the question why he sold his controlling stake in Geregu Power, then you need to understand this. Femi Otedola is not a trader. I mean, so far as I can tell, he's not even a traditional businessman anymore. When he stopped was, the last time he did with the oil marketing and all that. So far I can tell, he has been a powerful strategic investor ever since. And there's a difference in his kind of thinking. Why many people actually think in trends, Femi thinks in cycles. He doesn't, he doesn't think like an average investor or like an average businessman. He wants to be misunderstood to his advantage. When everybody was shouting oil marketing, he entered. When the cycle ended, he exited and people laughed. When people ignored power generation, he also entered. He built Geregu quietly, took it public, expanded it. Now that value has actually matured and he exited again. One thing I love about him is that, you see, ego, when it comes to controlling ego of a business person, like, I own this, I own the highest stake in this. So that ego is not there. He understands entering and exiting. Most investors don't have that discipline as investors. I've always noticed one thing. People often misunderstand those who are often ahead of time. I've actually studied Femi Otedola and people like Dangote so well, their psychology of business, how they approach their business while everybody's actually panicking and doing a whole lot of things. They're steady, their feet is on the ground steady. So it has actually told me it's more of discipline and strategy. I mean, this is a man that's actually gone in serious debt, bankruptcy, if not total. Like, this man was almost nowhere at the time. Such comebacks isn't random. Such person must have gone through so much scrutiny, so much fire, so much discipline, a lot to be back to this very level. It doesn't just happen like that. Most people never recover from that, but he did. Not by shouting, not by explaining himself, but thinking better. If you pay attention to his lifestyle, if you pay attention to his talk, no reckless talk, no unnecessary drama, no gambling with reputation. He's always intentional about his life. If you do, he doesn't have to come and attack you. As long as the law is there, he will pick you. And you won't hear him say anything. What people do not understand is that it takes a lot to build reputation. It takes a lot to build a character. It takes a lot to build business. It takes a lot to build this thinking capacity. The IQ, you build it as well. The AQ, you build it. If you don't think, it doesn't mean that other people don't think. So if you want to mess up that very space, some people will pick you. So that has been his strategy when it comes to people messing around him, because he understands that he has a lot to lose. Not just him, a lot of people. And that's one of his mistakes in the past. This is a man that has corrected him. You need to read that book, his recent book. You need to read it to understand that this is a man that has gone through fire and back. Because when you think in billions, discipline becomes survival. You don't kid around with your name. You don't kid around with trust. And this trust, integrity, transparency has been the reason why he has been, working effortlessly with Dangote. The trust is there, the transparency, the business essence is there. If you pay attention to these heavyweight champions, two different men, two industries, but one mindset, same mindset, intentional, quiet, strategic. Why people are actually arguing online, they're actually moving capital. Why people chase cloud, they're reshaping Africa's economy. Now here's the part Nigerians should be paying attention to, not the 1 trillion headline, but where is the money going to next? Because Femi Otedola is one person you can actually predict when he comes to pulling out, exiting, investing. Once he pulls out, he already has a plan down. There's a place he's moving the money. So where is the money going into? Banking, infrastructure, energy, Dangote refinery linked opportunities? Who knows? But I know that in these four, there must be one. And I'm rooting for banking and Dangote refineries. Whichever one it is, it goes sell. Because wherever men like Otedola move their capital to, market follows. So if you're actually in stock market, don't actually pay attention to trend, to noise. Don't ask what's or who is actually trending. Just watch the capital movement. Ask where disciplined men like Otedola put their serious money. I actually admire some people in business. Don't pay attention just at the business alone. Pay attention to how these people think. And most times it's actually strategic thinking. You can't beat a man who understands cycle, patience, and strategy. Because really, until we change what we admire, we'll keep missing really what matters.